We are now live. This is Otunba Olabode Seni on OtunbaHOO latest talk show from the UK. And with me in the studio tonight and two of my guests. I'm still expecting one more person. I hope she'll be able to make it. If not, I'll be bringing her maybe tomorrow or some other time. It's my pleasure again to be on the seat doing this talk show. A talk show, I always say, for me is a moment to relax. Nothing, there's no protocol on my own show because whatever we do now is just going to be part of what in another 20, 30 years our grandchildren will see and watch. And also because this show is not under any stress, any constraint. I feel more relaxed. So I also want my guests to be relaxed. To Mr. Atewa Logun, can you hear me? I cannot hear. Can you speak up, please? No, I cannot hear you. You will need to adjust something on your side. I think. But can you hear me? If you can hear me, raise up your hand. Yeah, but I cannot hear you. So it's from your end. Yeah, on mute. Mute. Okay, let me try Mr. Shegun Daniel. Shegun Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well.
Yes. So there's something that is not right in America because Mr. Atewa Logun is joining me from the USA, an area, one of the states called Maryland. You need to. There's something you need to do from your end, because I don't. Yeah, I still can't hear you. Yeah, can you speak up now? No, I still can't. We still can't hear you.
Let him check the volume of his set
Yeah,
and
can
then
you?
check if he has muted himself.
Yeah, can you check the volume? Increase the volume of your mobile phone. Turn it up. Turn up the volume.
And then check if he has muted himself.
Have you? No, the mute is gone. I must make a joke here. My Alagwa Tunji is my very good friend. We know each other very well. The problem has always been this kind of volume because we attend meetings. Sorry, I'm on a live show. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me call you back. I'm trying to fix the mic of one of my guests in America. Can I call you back?
No problem.
Okay. Yeah. How do we do this?
He can exit and then sign
Okay.
back.
Can you sign off and press the button to come back again?
Let him leave
Yeah.
and then click the link again and come back.
Okay. We have this problem many times. Issue of the Okay, let me try again. Hello? I still can't hear you, sir. We still can't hear you. Oh, do you want to take off, switch off your Bluetooth? Switch it off, switch it off. Okay, try again. I don't.
Okay. If he looks on his device, below he will find an icon named mic. Let him click on the icon named mic.
Okay.
That's microphone. That's where he's talking into. So
Your
on your
device,
device
on
at
your
the bottom,
device, there's an
yes.
icon
Hello?
showing mic.
Okay, he's
Hello?
talking now.
Hello, Yahoo! Yahoo!
Yeah, hello,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you, Mr. Exactly. You get five. You get five of that thump of Jare. All these old people. That's the thing, oh. What's the name of your son?
Tokumbo.
Tokumbo. Well done, Jare, Mr. Tokumbo. You are one of the next president of.
I say thank you for what you did.
Thank you very much, Tokumbo. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm using a laptop. I'm not using a phone.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but then even the procedure looks like. I must admit, I'm not a laptop fan, and I can use it to type and send messages. But when it comes to clicking it, highlighting, that's I always got stuck. But iPad, yes, I do that a lot.
Okay.
All right, let's get started. Welcome again to this evening of OtunbaHOO. You are welcome. Let's start by getting you introduce yourself. Again, like I said, we need to relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Nothing special here. We'll be talking just freely about matters arising on and about Nigeria and the UK, because there are two and a half countries. I want to represent Yoruba nation. So, I mean, I don't hide that. I have a UK citizen here and I have an American citizen. So I'm going to be talking about Yoruba nation. Let's start with the gentleman from the UK.
My name is Shegun Daniel. I live in UK. I work in UK. I'm a strategic planner, and I'm a Nigerian.
The gentleman in America.
Yeah. My name is Adetunji Atewologun. Tunji Atewologun, precisely. I've been living in the United States for a while, so I'm an American at the same time a Nigerian. I only have those two nationalities.
I was wondering. I was wondering, even if you are born in America, or the other gentleman born in the UK, there must have been a kind of a forbearing where you come from, because that's one an average American will not spare you, or a British will not spare me. Say, even though I tell them I'm a British citizen for almost over 30, whatever, they still ask you originally. What again? I'm not angry. I just because they know that if
Yeah.
I must have been coming from somewhere. So it's for me, I
Yes.
just say, well, Nigeria is those who want to improve on it to say which part of Nigeria you want to break it down. So I can tell
Yeah.
them I'm a Yoruba from the southwest of Nigeria. Welcome, gentlemen. It's my pleasure again. We're going to start tonight by talking about what is going on, what is trending in Nigeria. And I say Nigeria because, like, even though some Nigerians still want to come out of Nigeria to have their own nation. A good example is the Igbo people. But this show is not about campaigning for anybody. I can only speak for myself. So it's nothing to uh, take away and say, they are campaigning against anybody. Before we start, I want to appeal to people who are watching us to help share this show, like it, subscribe to it, and press the notification button because of next time, so you can be informed. Maybe another 1 minute. I'll be cutting out the uh, YouTube link. I'll send it to my guests. My guests can start forwarding to their friends and family. Right. Let me start with America. What's going on in America relating to Niger people? Because my people never carry last. What is trending in America?
Really nothing very special these days. But the only situation is we are trying to face is that we are looking at the situation in Niger Republic, how it's coming out, and how those people in the Niger Republic, the soldiers, are sending a reasoning that, oh, ECOWAS wants to start a coup d'etat outfit. But the guy in Niger Republic, the soldier, was trying to say, look, why don't you look for a reason why there is a coup d'etat? And if you see a reason, if you look at the reason where there's a coup d'etat, you will know that, hey, it is that reason you need to take care of, not the military who started the coup d'etat. For example, the corruption in most African countries is so bogus that, look, we cannot be proud of it. Also, the way they treated their citizens. He actually mentioned how the president of Niger Republic sent what tear gas, and he was proud of it. That yes, I tear gas them, and they all went back to their various houses. Citizens, the masses, you know. So he was trying to say that, look, we should find a way to remove corruption from African agenda before you can say you want to remove coup d'etat.
Very interesting. It used to be, I think, in the 80s, where coup d'etat becomes a popular mode of life. Once a civilian government is not performing or they have reason to step in, it will just be bang, 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 my fellow citizen, here you come. We are taking over the shenanigan of non-performant government, and then they will step in. I think we have that history in Nigeria for about 38 years out of the period of the last 60 years. Walk us through again, Mr. Shegun Daniel, your experience with the military coup d'etats in Africa.
Well, most times problems are very simple, but by action or inactions of some leaders or many players, they make them complicated. The recent coup in Niger comes at a time that ECOWAS, as a sub-regional group, wanted to make coup to be unfashionable. So I think that is what is causing the coup battle. Had it been that coup, as it was in the 80s and 70s, that it was a very welcoming method of changing government, maybe we probably would not be saying or having this discussion. But because of the trend of things, not necessarily ingrained in laws, but because of the trend of things, coup is seen as not being fashionable. So any practice of it, this recently is the case of coup in Niger, had come more like an aberration. However, there have been those who equally said sometimes the action or inaction of those who are voted in by democratic.
Mr. Tunji, I think you will need to mute yourself. Can you mute your? I think I can mute you from here.
Okay.
Hey, sorry about that.
Okay. No, you
Uh,
can go out, come back again. Just mute yourself where you are going. Go on, Mr.
Oh,
Shegun Daniel.
so because recently, uh, like I said, the issue of coup had become fashionable. That's why this had become an issue. However, there are those who equally said, by the actions or inactions of those who have found themselves in power by legal and democratic means. Yes, they are actually in power by legal and democratic means. But because of their action or inaction, have encouraged the incursion of coup. And what I mean by that is, some have labeled them as being corrupt, some have labeled them as being incompetent, some have labeled them as being nepotist, some have given them all manners of. But we should refrain from certain things. And it is easier to tag people with all manners of names. I don't live in Nigeria, and I cannot be saying the government in Nigeria is corrupt, widely corrupt, just as many people in Nigeria would say, who does not even have an experience of a day in Nigeria. So I found that somehow with a pinch of salt when people make such statements. It does not mean such corruption does not exist anyway. But I'm saying that we should deal with facts. Two, I think what we could need coup in the board, if we actually want to be sincere with ourselves in Africa, is for government to be transparent, for government to be truthful, for government to be accountable. With the little information we had concerning Niger, nearly about 36% of the budget in Niger, that's the money that is available for government to spend yearly in Niger, is provided free, cheap money by EU, just like a donation, a hit, free money. And now they have said we are withholding that money just because of the coup. That means even if people are jubilating for the coup plotters to be in power, they are really going to face severe economic consequences because those money for development will not be available. You get it? Now, the government might not be able to tell the public why we are unable to improve on health, why we will be unable to improve on education, why we will be unable to improve on infrastructure, because those resources are not available. This money is coming from a third party, from someone who now have withheld that resources. So sometimes things could look welcoming, but like we usually say, the devil is in the detail. You need to understand what it composed of. What exactly, where will this take us? That does not mean you cannot think out of the box. Yes, apparently. If the government feel, the government in Niger, the new coup plotters, feel if EU is able to withhold its money, if you can curry some favor from other groups, maybe from China, maybe from India, maybe from Russia or elsewhere, who could make this similar amount of money or even more available. In which case, yeah, they might be able to bridge it and then be able to rescue their people in terms of putting economic prosperity in shape. But that is uh, for now. You can only imagine that. That is still not in the paper. So, but given the role of ECOWAS, uh, I think it wasn't envisaged when Nigerian president who took the leadership of ECOWAS recently, and it made a statement regarding pervasive coup plotting in West Africa, where he sounded warning that coup will no longer be tolerated. Unfortunately, it's just in a matter of weeks or days after that statement that we're now witnessing what is happening in Nigeria. I think that it is that statement that is boxing the ECOWAS in a situation that actions may be taken. Since we have made this statement, since we have put ourselves or we have envisaged this will be our trust forward, and this is happening, then it must be dealt with. So that to me is the situation we are in. Then the second part is there has to be some kind of a conflict. Every nation is a sovereignty, and there is a limitation of involvement, influence, or direct uh, uh, involvement by any other third party, unless in the case of a declaration of war against that nation, where another country can have an excessive influence in terms of use of force in another country. So, well, there is another provision though, where for the sake of peace and for the sake of continued economic prosperity in the sub-region, because if Niger has to go balkanized or it has to turn into a failed state, every neighboring countries within the territory of West Africa will be impacted. So it might not be out of order to have a foreseeable plan that should be nipped in the bud. And I think the situation in Niger, I'm not an active participant. For one, I think that will be left in the hands of the presidency as well as the diplomacy Nigeria wants to play in resolving the matter. We should not be in a situation where we say it is here or there. If ECOMOG leaders believe negotiation could resolve this matter, it's a matter of give and take. It does not necessarily have to be. Their first stance is put Bazoum back, that's the former president, return him back to power. If in negotiation that cannot be achieved, I think they can still shift their position and make compromises, whatever it is, for achieving peace. So it's going to be a long talk, I hope. And I believe even with the threat that the use of force is still on the table, it will not resort to that. Yeah, that is my hope. I can only enjoin every commentator or whoever that wants to make analysis of the situation, not to fuel it in terms of it has to be a military way. It's only by the use of force. I mean, there is always the prevailing feeling that the number of the West African countries that is against, that have come together, that wants to be against what has happened in Niger, should be more superior. But that's not, that usually doesn't pan out sometimes. You get it? And two, even if it happens, the consequence of it might be far-reaching. Even if they return Bazoum or whatever and dislodge this guy, it could still catapulted into a lot of trouble. We all remembered what happened in Libya. The world powers thought, one part of the world power, the Americans and the EU and all that, they thought it's going to be a quick fix. That all they needed to do is remove Gaddafi. The removal of Gaddafi today has turned most part of North Africa, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa, into a dangerous crisis of immigration and arms proliferation. Yes. So sometimes it's not an easy quick that you just take guns, artilleries, and all that. You move into the state. You might not be able to control how the guns or the ammunition and the weaponry in Niger will eventually be redistributed during those times, which could have a far-reaching consequences in all other African countries. So I think temper should be maintained. Should be lowered, and good reasoning come to a judge in this matter.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Again, when things like this happen in the third world, it's a general perception of the way people look at it is there's somebody behind it. There's another country behind it. There's a world power behind it. In this, uh, the Mali, I mean Niger is like a kind of uh, francophone country in West Africa. There's a mixture of them. There's the British, the Franco, is any Portuguese or what? It doesn't. Now, the point is the way the position of the Mali coup plotters, I mean, whatever, could go, I
It's
mean,
Niger, not Mali.
sorry, Mali. I'm talking of Mali now, where we are now. No, Niger is where the recent coup took place.
Okay.
Yeah, Niger is the latest one. Now, if somebody say to you, "Oh, there's definitely somebody behind it," but this time around, France, the colonial master, is openly saying, "Oh, got nothing to do with it too. As far as we are concerned, we want to keep Bazoum because Bazoum is our person. Is the one we know. He was leading a legitimate, a democratically elected government." If France is saying that to everybody, do we believe France that what they are saying is right? And why should we believe France that France is not behind the this coup against Bazoum?
Uh,
Mr. I must say, Mr. Tunji Ataologun is back, but I'll come to you in a minute. Let Mr. Shegun take that. Do you understand the question, Mr. Shegun?
yes, I do. But I think it's irrelevant. It's only good to talk about our usual suspect, the same way we've been doing things. Pointing accusing finger to people does not really necessarily resolve things. This search for who to blame, who to say is responsible or whatever, has not in any way resolved any problem. So we shouldn't be doing that if we're actually interested in solving the problem. Yes, it is all known in diplomacy that even if France is involved, and France come into the public and said, "I'm not." That's the way it is. You get it? So it's an effort in futility try to, even if you discover France is involved, of what use will it be? Just because you want to attribute it that France is involved. It has not changed the paradigm on the scene. So that to me is an effort in futility. It's just try to scapegoat people or try to point. That is not a strategic way of looking for solution. I've usually said that my training is always looking for solution to issues, not necessarily repeating or recapitulating or spending unnecessary long time on problems. You get it? If you are scampering in the dark, if France want to admit that we are involved, let them say so. If they don't want to admit, then we take their words for it. And then we move on and we look at what solutions are available. But if you are not taking their words for it, and you are pretending in your mind they are involved, then you are not planning to have a solution.
But again, we must also not forget that it will be very difficult. Mr. Tunji Atoli, we are talking about the military coup in Niger. Is it Niger or Niger? I don't know.
Niger.
Niger. Now, the way it is now, if France say we have no hand in it because they prefer to do business with civilian authority, I mean civilian government, and the Niger is now saying, you know what, the people of Niger are fed up with this bad governance, corruption, and all that kind of thing. Is it not true to say that the people have spoken? They've used the civilian, I mean the military, to get the bad governance out of place. What's your take? What do you think?
Can you please hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Yeah. All what we were saying, even when I was not, when my picture was not playing, I can hear everything. However, you see, the situation here is that most governments, especially Western or Eastern governments, will not take responsibilities of any coup d'etat in any country, especially where they are colonial masters. Definitely, it never. It's when this thing continues to unravel that will continue. Now we see some countries, some Western countries, trying to claim uh, ownership. You can, like you said, mentioned the other time about Mali. Mali is trying to get rid of anything about France, about French. They are trying to get rid of everything about French. And not only were they trying to get to the Russian embassy, they were trying to flag, Russian flags. Also in Niger Republic and Mali. Also, Mali wanted to develop their own language, their own way of, you know, communications, not English, not French, and actually not Russia. And if you look at Africa today, Africa is claiming to having what is called a United States of Africa, which was initially targeted by somebody called uh, Gaddafi many years ago. You know, so Mali has started a situation where many Africans will probably follow. And you know what? Some African countries, big, giant African countries, are scared of the situation in Niger Republic because it relates to their countries too. It can jar up the youths in their countries too. Because if you try to get ECOWAS to dislodge the soldiers over there in Niger, first of all, you are not looking at the masses, the effect on the masses, or the cry of the masses. You are not looking at that. If any giant African country is trying one way or the other to dislodge the junta boys, they are not looking at the masses. They are not looking, and if they look at the masses and allow the junta boys to stay, that is an example of a giant country in Africa. That look, this matter arising, hell, is coming to you if the citizen can be looked into. In the case of Niger, then in this giant country, the citizens also could have a voice. And the voice could be very brutal for this giant African country or countries. You can imagine an African president tottering to the podium in the United Nations, a disabled president. If I look at what Ibrahim Mo said, look, African countries, their average age is 90. Where are they leading you to? To the grave? Which was actually what happened to one African country, which I don't want to mention, giant African country in the last 8 years. In fact, that country was tottering to the grave. And so many other African countries also are going to the grave. So we need the youths, and the youths now are coming out in form of junta boys, because there is no other thing any youth without guns can do. Instead of any youth without guns to do such a thing, they will kill them. And when they are killed, look at NSAS in Nigeria. Many of those children were killed without anything, any repercussion, without anything to their parents, without anything, to address the effect of those children that were killed, and so many other things. I mean, so many African countries should now go back to the drawing board and see that what happened in Niger Republic, good or bad, supported by ECOWAS or not, could happen effectively in most giant countries. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alagba Tunji Atewo. Shegun Daniel,
Can
again, yeah,
can I
you wanted
quickly
to,
contribute?
yes, please.
I do not subscribe to violent change of governance in any form, whether by coup or by protest or by whatever. No, I do not subscribe to it. There cannot be any reason, there cannot be any justification, any legal reason for it to be justified. That's not to say that I don't live in reality. If it has happened, we need to readjust, reassess, and reinvent the situation. But that does not make it right. I want to make a correction here from what the speaker said. The coup in Niger should not be a precept for any other adventurers in West Africa to want to toy with coup plotting or coup d'etat in West Africa or in any other part of Africa for that matter. That should not be a campaign. That should not be anything anyone should encourage. The beauty of what we describe as democracy is this. It's only people who are very short-lived in their mind. I'm legally trained. If you have someone voted in for a mandate tenure of 4 years, inbuilt of that tenure is peradventure is not delivering on the manifesto to which you voted him or her in. Peradventure, the governance is going haywire and unresponsive to the public's yearning. You have some inbuilt mechanism to remove that government before the end of their tenure. In parliamentary system, we call it vote of no confidence, where the parliament could decide to remove the leader of the government and bring in another one, or even go further to request for a new election to usher in another administration. The same way in presidential, the National Assembly of that country could be mobilized, could be patronized, could be spoken to, could be, could be, what do they call lobbying for them to find good reason why the government or the president should be impeached. That is within the tenure of the governor, of the government. If that is impossible, the beauty of democracy is at the end of that tenure, 4 or 5 years, or 7 years as it may be, because election is a cycle, you have the opportunity of voting out that government. This unwanted, unwanton push that if anything does not just look the way I want it, it has to be a dramatic, drastic change to push everything out. I don't subscribe to it. And not in any legal way either. That, the military should just come and wipe them. No. You can wait, see through 4 years, and then vote. If your idea is indeed popular, campaign to get that government out.
I must beg for interruption. I want to
But
interrupt you.
this idea that, if it is not even in military, because I've recently even seen that those who are we the civilians, have actually trying to master another way, which to me could equally be regarded as a coup d'etat. Yes, protest. Protest is not a means of subversion. It's not a means to change government. We should all be clear about this. Recently, we saw what has happened in France. 2 years running now, France came out of a problem of trying to increase the age of retirement that have ushered in furious protests, which became violent. Even one another followed it when a teenager was killed, which resulted in a protest. That did not change government. There have been protests in United States, Occupy Wall Street, where the police came out and killed people. That did not change government. There have been protests in UK that became violent. That did not change government. The only reason for protest is for people to say that this policy or this agenda by the government is not acceptable to us. But they are laid out way to change government. If you do feel very strongly about it, campaign to make sure that if it's in parliamentary, that those who are in the parliament who vote that prime minister out by vote of no confidence. If it is in presidential, they can impeach. They did impeach Trump. It's only the Senate did not validate it. That happened in the United States. Yes. These are mechanisms that is built in. If that does not take care of it, the following tenure, the election cycle, vote the person out. In France, in the first term of Macron, he witnessed several protests as well.
Okay.
He came to contest the election in the second term now. The people knew that they did not wanted him, but they see that the alternative they have to him could be worse, yet they voted him back in. That's why, if it has been chosen as military to take him out, that wouldn't have made sense.
Okay.
Because the alternative you have to that too, you never can tell where it will take you.
Thank you, Shegun Daniel. Tunji, you had all what, even though as a presenter, I have my own opinion. Could be the same or different. I'm just not going to say it yet. Let's round it up on this military coup business. But I give you 2 minutes to respond to all what Mr. Shegun.
Mr. Shegun, I totally do not subscribe to most of the things you said. It worked in Western countries and Eastern countries. It does not work in a country called Nigeria. It does not work. In the last 40 years, there has been mismanagement, maladministrations, student killing, protester killed, corruption, massive corruption. People living from thousands to millionaires, from thousandaires to millionaires, from millionaires now to billionaires. People keeping money in their closets, people keeping money in burial grounds, people keeping wild, downtrodden people are subject to total abjection of poverty, total abject of poverty. And to mention a few, most of these governments in Nigeria can never ever find a way to be changed or changed. Never ever they allowed it. Look at the government of Baba, the man that just left. That government is not supposed to have that party is not supposed to have come to another to power again for years to come if it were to be in this kind of country. But look at it. Even those who are alternatives are worse than, no matter to the extent you have to find the worst of the alternative. That's what we had to get. Look at the issue of this governor of Central Bank being, Lord, siphoning money, keeping money, buying hundreds of cars for campaign, and he refused to resign from that executive post. But airplanes from where? Where did he get all this money? And it was arranged by the same government, by a new government, but people were saying, oh, even the person who president is part of them. Where does it start? Why not from the governor of the central bank that was ditching money to several people anytime he wanted? And that's so many elections in Nigeria. Elections in Nigeria. And I want to say it again. Elections in Nigeria can never change anything. Anything. Cannot even change an incomplete circle to a zero. It cannot change anything. I'm not saying there must be a coup. I'm not saying there must be a coup, but I'm saying that there must be a drastic change. Hey, several things has been experienced in Africa. Look at what happens during the Rawlings in Ghana. Look at what happened to that. Hey, you can imagine somebody, a Nigerian, having a $10.8 billion in America and other countries. And Nigerians are master's degree holders are putting stuff on their head to go sell plantain on the street of Ketu or Mile 2 to Ikorodu. And so you can imagine there is nothing lawless. People are killing each other anyhow. There is anarchy. Yeah, people are destroying things the way they like. Build house where they want to build. But there is no law. You cannot call 911 and receive the clear order. Here you can do that. In UK you can do that. You can call 911 and they will respond within minutes. In America you can do that. In Nigeria they will tell you their car has no gas. Sir, you need to give us money to buy gas to buy petrol into our car. If not, we will not come there. Whatever they want to do will have happened by that time. People are kidnapped and killed because they come from world countries, Western countries. There are no governments. Don't you have president in that country? Don't we have chief of police officers in that country? Don't we have army officers in that country? Right, they do. But what is going on? Nigeria has been deployed. It's in a deplorable state. It's in a state where nothing goes right. Now that this thing is not working, and they discover that even the oil subsidy cannot even come into play anymore. He has to go and lobby fellow. Let me know. Imagine. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and leaving that area of coup, that takes me to.
Can I quickly?
I need to leave the coup business. I think I will.
No, it's not the coup. It's not the coup.
Yeah.
I sympathize with what the gentleman has said. However, he sounds very, very, very pessimistic. And so far, he had not ushered any words of solution. He has blanketed everything with so much disdain and mountain of problem. What I have said so far is this, that if we renewed our mind and know that this is how things are practiced, we will begin to find solution. And that's why I said, if those who are agitating against the current government in Nigeria today knows that the way, even if we have differences or anger against him, that there are legal ways and means to resolve it, we will not be looking for what you have said so far is just the emergency way of exit. Oh, because this person, and these are statements that is taken sometimes out of people's imagination. They just made statements sometimes that are lacking in detail. There's somebody who is hiding 16 billion. There's somebody who has this, there's somebody who has that. which probably they might not be able to give the details of how to verify it. And so whipped up anger and sentiment, and that is about the problem. Are they telling you that this is how to curb it? This is how to ameliorate it? This is what we can do to revive it? This is what we can do to stop it? I didn't hear that from people. Now coming to Elemiewele or whatever, Emefiele's case. So far, the new administration have incarcerated Emefiele. You have alluded to the fact that Emefiele has several cars, this cars, that car, campaigning this and that. The government that has all the wherewithal, all the facts, all the information, far more than what you have not presented any of what you have said in court. The only charge preferred against Emefiele so far by this administration is that he possesses firearms. That is the only case. I don't want this kind of hula balu people just creating unnecessary information that are not truthful. If government who are in possession, to whom Emefiele had worked, to whom Emefiele is in their custody, today are not giving such information before the court of law, they preferred and charged him in court. They have not said this is the charge outside of Emefiele is in possession of firearms. How then are we trying to thrive with this kind of a thing? That's what I'm saying. If we know, we should be tempering our emotions with reality and facts of life. It's not just because of hearsay, people said this, that. Let us have what it takes. Because there are several ways, even if they know that they cannot get Emefiele resources or his money or whatever. There are ways they could trace his finances. You get it? Start curbing his fingers. Let me be honest with you. Rather than chasing someone, you could make that person, for instance, if, like you said, if Emefiele indeed do have several money tracked somewhere, if government have frozen it, if governments have liquidated his businesses, it will be the responsibility. This is what we learn in law. It has to be about the locus. It will be the responsibility of Emefiele to start charging government into court, trying to recover what he had and what has been taken from him. Not government chasing to get from Emefiele. We should be reasonable. We should think out these things. You get it? The pressure will be on Emefiele on how to say that legitimately I hand this money. Let him come and prove it. That will be the case. Not we trying to sacrifice ourselves and say, oh, Emefiele is hiding money here, there, which we cannot see.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying that we need to have an understanding of how these things work. And two, the devil is in the detail. Not just somebody telling you this is cities, and when you look at the details, you find a lot of things not matching up.
Thank you very much. Alagbatunji Atewologun.
Yes, sir.
This takes me to another area of our discussion tonight.
I don't want to respond to that at all.
Yeah, that's fine. This individual thing, this freedom of this and that. The president of Nigeria has just spoken. He has just addressed the nation. There are many areas he touched. The most important part of it is the issue of subsidy that now has led millions of Nigerians to become angry because maybe the method he used to, he just said that subsidy is removed, and you remove something, you don't put something back. The vacuum is now creating the hula balu we have now in the. But he has also spoken on some other areas. He mentioned that the education. He also talked about Greek and some other things. What are you hearing? What do you think? Do you think what he has said so far should calm down the politics, should calm down the nation, should calm down the ordinary people? Or what do you think? I must quickly say,
Thank
did you hear the address though?
I did not hear the address, but somebody sent it to me, the text.
Okay.
I have
All right.
the text right on my WhatsApp right now. But
Okay.
I did not go through it much, but because I don't subscribe to anything he's trying to say. Thank you for allowing me to comment on this. You see, if the goalpost is in the back of the field where it is, and people are playing, and while you are playing, some people move the goalpost to the outfield. A lot of people will play, they will still score. And even if you move the goalpost to be a quarter and a quarter, hey, they will love it and they'll be playing. So it now discover that when you move it, the threshold becomes small. You don't have a long rope for people to pull anymore to be able to get to the end of the pole. Right? Since you don't have a long rope to pull, it's easy to say, oh yeah, he's doing good, he's fine, he's so. Because the outgone government has destroyed the fabric of good governance. They have destroyed the fabric of citizenry, of social situations. All has been destroyed to no avail. It's quite unfortunate. So if this man comes up today, I remove the subsidy. If this man comes up today to say, oh yeah, I remove the subsidy, without doing the spade work of what's supposed to be going through, without doing the spade work, without telling the people, his people, I say, you know what, this is what the people will be, this is what the Molue will be using, this is what I give to the Molue people. Hey, he has done nothing. Many people were giving him kudos, including me, not knowing that this is, although I know that this is nothing, though. I just want to remind you where you are, this country where you are, this UK country where you are now. If they want to take away the light next week, they will be announcing to you today. And when they take away the light, if they will tell you, when in my time, when I was living in a city called Chicago, when they took away the light for more than 8 hours, everything in my freezer was accounted for, and I sent it to the utility company, and they paid for it. They paid for it. These people, they are working on the shoulders of the citizen. Electricity is nothing. You that have generator is the only one that talking about. The German company that are building generators are becoming the best in the world. They have the best market, Nigeria. And because of that, they will supply everything they want to the government of Nigeria. And at the end of the day, Nigeria will say, okay, you know what? Take away the light at night. People will rush out to go and buy candles. The candle industry will go and give NEPA money. So, okay, let them take away the light. Okay, now people will go and rush to buy candles. The candle industry will become buoyant for that time. And so many other things. When you talk of this subsidy, those who are actually milking the subsidy, will they sleep? Will they stop and said, oh, okay, yeah, the president had removed the subsidy. Yeah, that's very good. We are very happy with the government. Whereas they will go in their heels to subvert every activity of that government to bring that subsidy back. To bring it back. And what has happened? he not only resigned on it, he is still working on it. That's one of the things he said, my fellow countrymen. Yeah, he is still working on it. They cannot find a way about it for Nigerians to be able to say, you know what, we are going to do away with this thing, and all the people in charge, if you are not in support of this, go to jail. Yes, go to jail. Everybody that's in charge of it will be like, oh no, I don't want to go to jail. Oh hey, I made $1 million. Then I'm ready to drop 500 billion. Is it possible for somebody that made $1 billion in oil subsidy to say today, you know, it can subvert the government? It's easy. With money, you can destroy any government. Yes. So, how is it that the government will now tell you that, look, where you get your money, it's not possible anymore? Oh man, you will find a way to destroy that government before that government gets to you. So I just want to understand that hey, no matter what it is, no matter where the kind of government is, I don't believe there could be any good thing that could be of any importance that the government can do. No matter whether you are a lawyer, whether you can do this or you cannot do this, you are a politician, you are not a politician. Hey, Nigeria's case is the third case. Nobody can do anything to Nigeria.
Okay.
Let me not tell you, nobody. You know.
Well,
thank you.
Cannot do anything to Nigeria.
Yeah.
The lawyers too, they know they can't do anything to Nigeria. Look at it. Look, there's nothing you can do to Nigeria that is going to work. Honestly, you said I did not give any solution. There is no solution to Nigeria problem. There's only one solution to Nigerian problem. Only one. That is all those who are stealing money from Nigeria, bring the money back, and that can never happen. That cannot be easy. Even with all the money, there is still money in Nigeria.
Now, okay. Now, let me go back to no, hang on a minute. The way things are now, I think subsidy is the biggest. Is a threat. It's also make a lot of people groaning, make a lot of people create a lot of discomfort, and it's also affect directly as we speak. Is affecting the economy. That one, nobody can shy away from that fact. That people are complaining that a journey of whatever that normally costs them 200 naira is now costing them about 400-500 naira, and you don't need to be an economist to understand that something must be responsible for that. And what is mainly responsible for this hike in prices of everything is because the cost of production, the cost of bringing some of these things to the market. What do you like the way the government removed the subsidy, if there was any at all? And do you also what's your take on not making adequate preparation to get removal of subsidy have a kind of a penetration in the country? Checking. Yeah, no, sorry, that was for checking.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that the gentleman have said he has no solution, and he has repeated his pessimism about Nigeria. So apparently, That to me is a very disillusioned situation because outset that shows that anything that he probably thought of in Nigeria will start off with a defeatist belief. If he said Nigeria is going to prosper, such person will tell you it can never happen. That is the precept. That has always been the premise. Oh, that Nigeria will do good. No, it will never happen. They can never succeed. I don't subscribe to such school of thought. I believe that if there are problems, there are solutions to the problem. So far, in the address of the president today, he mentioned about the fuel subsidy. Let's look at it properly. This so-called fuel subsidy actually revolves around just one product of the petroleum product, which is the PMS, not the entirety of the product. It's the PMS, just the petrol that has been heavily subsidized by the government. And a good start into that subsidy regime have shown to the government, more even to the people's acceptance, that there are few group of people. The president today called them the elite of the elite. That's how he described them. He said they are the elite of the elite who are benefiting profoundly who had benefited profoundly because since the inception of his own government, he had stopped it. That means over the years, they have benefited from that regime of subsidies of the PMS. You get it? That is somebody who is looking at solutions. He had identified the problem and he said, this is the step I'm going to take to stop it. I will stop it. And indeed stopped it. That does not mean that that solution will not come with its own consequences. In strategic planning, that is what we talked about, playing out the scenario. You get it? The cause and consequences of your action. Then you look at different scenarios of their outcome and choose the best one that can fit the situation. In spite of doing that, you create a room for flexibility, in which case you can adjust your parameters to suit the solution that you have profiled. Here is a man, it's not in his administration that he has paid a kobo on subsidy. He had looked at the successive regime in Nigeria up to his point at 29th of May 2023 and said there is an elite of the elite who had benefited from this regime of subsidy in trillions of naira, and it has not trickled down to the people. I'm going to put an end to it. That's someone who identified the problem and said, this is my solution. But the strategy in applying that solution will come with a whirlwind. This is what Nigerians are facing. The consequences, the whirlwind of that decision. That maybe it was not properly articulated, and I use the word maybe. Yes, that it was not properly articulated that this is what we're going to do to ameliorate, to reduce, to bring to bear the consequence of our action. That should be put aside. But to say that he does not have a solution, he's not going to be talking to Nigeria. He had not even got sworn in and started talking to Nigeria that what brought us here started back 60 years ago, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, as some previous administration have been alluding. They will tell you, the problem we have now is not me. Even when they knew before they became president that there is a problem, when they got there, they started referring to, oh, it has taken several times. That is not leadership. He had not said that, oh, I will keep it and started thinking on it. That, oh, you know why? this problem has been with us for several years, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to be easy. No, he has taken a stand. That's somebody who thinks out, who thinks solution. And like I said, the preference for that solution comes with consequences. So we must put our thinking cap on to think out the consequences, how to ameliorate it. In doing that, in today's speech as well, he has given some leverages of what the government intends to do to ameliorate it. There have been several contributors who talked about changing the energy dynamics of Nigeria, particularly Nigeria economy is driven by the road network. That means the use of vehicular for goods and services movement. That's why there is predominantly use of petroleum products. Yes, if we had other means of transportation, if our coal industry is vibrant and our, what is it called, aside from those climate campaigners, and our rail system is built on coal, we will not be talking this, and coal will be taking averagely of 70% of goods movement. I mean, rail line will be taking averagely of goods movement. That will reduce all this preponderance need to be sitting on petroleum products to drive the economy.
Thank
Like I said, he has said today that there's going to be an investment in agriculture. There's going to be an investment in other strategic areas of the economy that is going to boost it, and is going to bring to bear support to the people in terms of increase in wages. And I must tell you today, as an economic trained mind as well, fortunately, this so-called palliative of direct payment, as well as the talks around increase in wages, if anybody is taking a good feeler of Nigerian economy, that is one talk so far that will not have an impact on inflation. Ordinarily, such money, slush, I regard them as slush money, if they had to come into economy, will have proven negative. Let me be very analytical with sometimes what Labour do not, I believe they do understand, but sometimes they play horse trick. Labour today is asking for government to give them 200, is it 2,000 or 200% increase in salary? Labour knew that if government has to fund that, put that kind of money in the economy, the truth is, it's a shadow. What you are buying today at 40 naira tomato, once they change your salary from 440,000 naira to 160,000, go to that market, you will not find it. 160,000 will still not be able to take you home. That is the truth. It is not wages. The combat problem in the economy is price of goods and services. Once those wages goes up, what you think that, oh, if I get 160,000, that I'm having 40 now, I'll be able to buy a bicycle, I'll be able to buy. The moment you get that 160,000, you'll be out of reach to buy bicycle. You are back to where you are. Your landlord will increase, transport fare will increase, everything will increase. In 3-5 months, you'll be asking that you should be paid 650,000. And you are chasing shadow. That is the truth. You will be chasing the shadow because what you need that money for will not wait. They will be jumping exponentially while you are increasing arithmetically. Yes, you will find yourself in more deeper trouble. You get it? And like I said, today's announcement, so far, the economy has been a bit rigid. It's not really it's not simulating to that increment in injection of funding to the economy will escalate inflation. Yes, and that must be tailed. If it is not properly tailed, it will be an illusion for the people. The same goes with the so-called parallel market of the foreign exchange. If the foreign currency are not available, it is a ruse for anybody, if they are in short supply, it is a ruse for anybody to think that they're going to destroy or decapitate the black market. It's simply not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. The only way Nigeria can do that is if Nigeria earn more foreign exchange, which it is not using to import. Yes, for instance, if Nigeria ban all manners of importation of frivolities, yes, and only capital machinery can be imported. And Nigeria is earning so much for petroleum products and agricultural export. And people who want to import toothpick realize that, you know what, if you go buy foreign exchange and you import toothpick, either by import prohibition or outright ban, the import prohibition will mean that we will put excessive tax. You get the excise duties on it. If you buy toothpick from China for $2, you are likely going to pay $200 to have it delivered to you in Nigeria to be sold. It discourages you to invest in it. That means you will not need that foreign exchange. It will see. And if people are not needing it, nobody will trade in it.
Okay, Mr. Shegun Daniel, I must interrupt you again. I can. I'm trying. I do follow your line of analysis. I do appreciate it because I'm looking at the time because I wanted to go quickly to other item of my list that I want to discuss tonight because I know I want to be doing this every other day.
I think the gentleman wants to quickly ask.
Yeah, let me quickly here because I need to go. But Mr. Tunji Ataologun,
yes, sir.
You're very quick.
Yeah.
The next question is coming to you anyway. But please be fast on this one.
Yeah. I'm going to say something, and I'm very sorry for it. Miss Daniel, directly, I don't know how long you've been out of Nigeria or out of the history of what has been going on in Nigeria.
I was in Nigeria during the last election.
Okay. That's one. The second thing I was going to say is that, you see, all this foreign exchange we are talking about is in the hand of individuals in Nigeria.
I think I enjoyed it.
They are in the hands of individuals in Nigeria.
Can you establish that? Can you establish that? Can you prove that?
Look, sir, in millions, I'm telling you, in millions. When Emefiele's house was raided, a lot was seen there. That was one.
Were you an eyewitness?
I want to tell you, look, I want to tell you something else. I know another politician that was arranged, and he told them, say, oh, no, take it easy. I'll take care of you. And they went to his house, and he has 2 rooms of where we have pounds sterling and dollars in one place, and where we have nairas in billions in another room. He told them, help yourself. Just leave my life alone. Help yourself. That's another one. That's one. In the early hours of Buhari, some people were seen burying pound sterling and dollars in a house in Ikoyi. They were exhumed and showed to most Nigerians. Thank God. Some people were there, the press were there to film them out. They have not been using that thing on so many other places. Therefore, it's only one person that was doing it. Oh, the question is, am I there? Did I see it? And media is a responsible venue to be able to get our several things. However, if I'm going to go away from that, I used to live in a city called Chicago and a state called Illinois. 3 successive governors were sent to jail. 3 successive governors were sent to jail for bribery. I knew one, Blago, for $25,000. He was sent to 14 years in jail. $25,000 was sent to jail. He was pardoned by Trump. Before him, there was Governor Dan Ryan, was sent to jail because he gave a third party gave a driver's license, a CDL driver's license to somebody, and that person did not have a training of it. He drove a trailer and killed 6 people in a Sienna. And when it was investigated, they investigated it to Governor Dan Ryan, and he was in jail. When he was in jail, his wife was dying, and they went to the judge, give him 15 minutes to go see his wife buried. They did not. Before him, I can even mention somebody that is very, very, people can hear, Jesse Jackson Jr. He did not share in the $25,000 from Blago, but he was linked to it. He went to jail for 1 year.
Yeah, I remember that case very well. Mr. Tunji, because of time,
I used to live in that city called Chicago, 15 years.
I also know Chicago very well, South Side, North Side.
What I'm disturbed, pardon me, what I'm disturbed about this is this. One, you just talked about people who are put through the court system, who eventually got found guilty, and they were sentenced for the punishment. Why would it be difficult if other people were put through the same court process and they were found not guilty? I don't know. That's what I do not. I cannot phantom. Yes. Secondly, you have earlier alluded to extrajudicial system, where you did talk about what Rawlings did in Ghana and all that. Just summarily kill people off and all that. That is what I'm talking about. If you so much believe in the system called democracy, which is what you have just shown now, let that system prosecute the people. Let that system bring judicial bearing upon them. If it cannot establish it, you must accept the consequence of it. Let me tell you the beauty of the judicial system. If somebody, peradventure, comes to my neighborhood tonight, even if I witnessed it, let's say I just looked through my window, and I saw someone.
You are even in the UK, sir, not in Nigeria. Yes.
I don't know.
All those rules and regulations
in Nigeria
does not work in Nigeria.
I've said it, you are just a person. Whether I'm in Nigeria or I'm in UK, my reasoning does not change. I'm in every society to exist.
It changes, but it does not work in Nigeria.
It's you that is taking a preference that if you are in Nigeria, I'm saying that the law prevails everywhere. Whatever that is obtainable in Nigeria, the law in UK might not be the same as the law it appears in Nigeria. If I'm in Nigeria, I will have to conduct myself to the legal framework that existed in Nigeria. If I'm in UK, I have to conduct myself to the legal framework that existed in UK. I would not have to be saying that, oh, while I'm in UK, this, that, blah, blah. What I'm simply saying, and the analogy I want to give, and that's why sometimes it's difficult for people to appreciate what the judicial system is. It's only when it pans out in other states or other systems that people sometimes kind of recognize it. A judge sitting in judgment, you get it, has no reason. In fact, judges are not witnesses to events that happen before them. that are brought to the court. I wanted to give an instance that if I look through my window and I found somebody shooting someone else, and the police came and arrested him and all that, and they put him through the court process and want to try him, that judge that the accused person will be standing before does not know him. He does not know the accused person. He does not know whether truly that event that took place that day, to which charges was preferred against that person, indeed was true or right or not. That judge does not know. All the judge needs to rely on is the evidence you put before him or her. That
Thank you very
truly
much.
it is this person that was there. It is this person that carried the gun. It is this person that shot the bullet. It is this person. If you are unable to do that in the court of law, that judge cannot give you judgment.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He is removed from your emotions. He is removed. He was not an eyewitness. And he has to be cautious. Because let's say the person that is accused before him was framed for that instance, and he has to pass a judgment that that life should be taken. It is a very, very delicate work.
Okay.
So when you get judgment, please always try to revert it. It is not all about saying, oh, it is true here, it is not true there. It is not. We have to understand how this thing. You can say to yourself, I know somebody is hiding money, is corrupt, is this, is that. If you take it to court and you cannot establish the fact, the judge was not an eyewitness. The judge does not conduct business with your accused person. The judge does not know him from anywhere. The judge will ask him to go free.
All right. Thank you very much, Shegun Daniel. Let me quickly go to, because of time. Tunji, look, you and I are campaigners, I believe. What's the latest about Yoruba Self Determination Movement? What is the latest? A lot of people keep asking me every day. They wake me up and say, "What is going on? What are you hearing? What do you know about this progress?"
First, actually, what I heard when I went to London, when I went to Manchester last week from some friend, is that àwọn ò lè support ẹ o, àwọn ò need ẹ o, kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀, Amẹ́ríkà ò lè gbà, kíní kan ò lè gbà, àfi tá a bá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Putin nìkan ló lè find a way. I looked at it differently, and I was looking at it from the fact that, hey, if Yoruba people wanted to come out, there must be a way. Ways of which I don't know how. Right. There are legal and illegal ways, which I don't even know how to. But when you look at what happens to Professor Banji Akitoye and Sunday Igboho, you will discover that these people are real agitators. And they want this thing to come to fruition. Quite unfortunate, it becomes impossible for us to know that this thing is going to happen or it's not going to happen, when, how. I find it highly impossible to say, okay, this will happen in one way or the other. I can't find it. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to go about it. But I really wanted a Yoruba nation. Yes. Anything that happened when we get a Yoruba nation is what has been happening to so many people. Whether they get their nation or you don't have their nation, it will happen. Whether fighting, dichotomy, misunderstanding, it will happen. But Yoruba nation is what we need. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Alagbatunji. Let me bring Shegun Daniel into this again. I think we've gone through this many times. It's one of my regular on my show, and I am more concerned. I'm more interested in how to achieve. How do we achieve Yoruba? Because I have no doubt in my mind that it's a good project. It's a good product, and it depends on how we are going about it, how we are going to get it. Walk us through again the process and procedure of this Yoruba Nation business, Mr. Shegun Daniel.
Oh, well, I think on many fora, I've, uh, I've enunciated my position regarding the Yoruba Nation, the Yoruba Nation agitation, the, the methods, procedures, processes that could eventually culminate in having the birth of a nation called Yoruba, out of an existing Nigerian nation. There are a lot of issues involved in this, and I think it should be very instructive for us to have a clear and purposeful vision of what our desires are. And we should have a very good roadmap of our understanding of what we want to achieve. Be that as it may, fortunately, Yoruba nation agitation fall within the ambit of creating a nation out of an existing nation. So it's not some kind of a nation demanding independence from an occupier, or a nation demanding independence from an imperialist, which means that it's an existing conundrum that needs to satisfy certain conditions for it to become independent out of the exercise of its governing imperialist. Here is a nation or a nationhood that exists within a country that now wanted a separation. To be honest about it, only that in some quarters, we have to be very, very honest with ourselves. The truth of it is, what Yoruba nation is about is secession. It's simply, in a simple language, it is secession. Unfortunately, the use of that word secession happens to be a criminal matter in Nigerian constitution, and that's why it's not fashionable to use it as such. The truth of it is that agitation itself is secession. But because there is a conundrum around the use of that word in regard to legality, it cannot be used. So we must find another nomenclature for which we can use to exercise such agitation. Now, there is nothing wrong for anyone to aspire. That's okay. Just like even within Nigeria, there are those who are agitating for new local government. There are those who are agitating for new state creation. In fact, today I was listening to former PDP chairman, OtunbaHOO. He was talking from his state of origin that the Ndoma and the tea, right? That so far it is the tea that have been dominating and producing the governor. That means even within a state, there had always been simmering agitation. Within Ogun State alone, there are Jebus who want to feel the Egbas are dominating them. The Yewas feel the Egbas. So it's going to be on. And that's why I have no qualms with Yoruba saying, within Nigeria, we feel stifled, we feel whatever is their reason. You get it? Could be for academic purposes to research, could be genuinely something to be pursued. You get it, for political reasons. But if it comes to making it real, and that's where we're going. If that agitation is true and is widespread, which I doubt, that is, if all those who call themselves Yoruba, not in diaspora, but in Nigeria, are actually aspiring or actually true in connection, convinced that they truly want a nation of their own, that cannot be established for now. Then, if that is the situation, we have to be clear to ourselves. We have to be very, 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 very clear to ourselves that what we want to pursue is the political process, is the political request, is a political question. A birth of any nation out of an existing one is a political request. There are several countries till today that are still in that position. A very good example in UK is Scotland. A very good example in Spain is Catalonia. And they are still widespread all across the world that some parts of a nation want to be recognized as separate and independent nation out of it. But they must recognize one thing. It is that existing nation from where they want to get out of from, that is the sovereignty. That means whatever agitation there is has to be centered around that sovereignty. The dialogue for political part of that nation has to be a political discussion. Because in the existing sovereignty, they are representatives of the members of that group that are agitating, that are expected to be there. Those ones are the ones that can put the matter before the whole of that nation. I have seen in this recent agitation that a lot of people have taken a detour into what is very, 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 as far as I'm concerned, very, very unnecessary. And I believe that it is this sometimes emotions that driven matters that is taking people out of normal orderliness. Some will want to appeal to United Nations, they want to appeal to United States, they want to appeal to EU, they want to appeal to the colonial masters of the United Kingdom and say, oh, once they made this pronouncement on it, they made that pronouncement on it, they accepted our position, they do this for us, or they did that for us, that is when we can achieve. It is a route. It is all but nothing. No other nation can bring to existence Yoruba nation out of Nigeria, or Biafra nation out of Nigeria, or Arewa nation out of Nigeria, except Nigeria itself. Whoever is agitating for Yoruba nation to be able to have that dialogue with Nigerian government. And the situation is this, because Nigerian government wants itself to exist in perpetuity. They're likely, unless we are going to deceive ourselves, they're likely going to stifle you. You should expect that. They're likely going to make it impossible for you to achieve it. I don't know why we think we can get it on a platter of gold. You should expect their defense. You should expect that they will be antagonistic. I don't know why we cannot expect that. We should all take that in as part of what we will encounter, that Nigeria will not want this to happen. That is how you prepare, either in legal framework, in the politics of it, or in the socio-economic fabric of it. You should expect the resistance from the Nigerian government, that the Nigerian government will not want any part of it to be divisive and go away. That is the status quo. I don't know why we cannot phantom that should be the default. Then we have to prepare how to counter that. In which case, in the National Assembly, if we have our members who are true and honorable to that cause, and I'm not talking to people who are defeated, who are going to say that cannot happen. Because if we are defeated from outside, it doesn't want us going for that cause. If we believe we cannot raise generation of politicians who are going to have that cause preferred before the House of Assembly, then we shouldn't be dreaming it. We should be thinking it. We should be conceiving it. Because we have already defeated ourselves. That no, we cannot. And mind you, these are Yoruba of our own extraction, our kith and kin. And we are saying, oh, our politician cannot do it. Our politician will not do it. Our politician are. Then why are we dreaming it? Then it shouldn't be a cause for us to talk about it. Because we have defeated ourselves ab initio.
All right.
The quality of leadership in people is not so much to have things easily done. It is what solution do you bring to problem? And you should expect those who are going to be against you to be antagonistic against you. They must bring so many obstacles. How do you think of how to surmount those obstacles? It is not so much of saying, no. But once you even stay within your own team, we can't achieve it. I don't know why I have to drink.
Thank you, Shegun. Mr. Tunji, can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah. Well, let's you and I, because we are active campaigners. We want Yoruba Nation, and I'm sure Shegun Daniel also wants it. The way he's talking is not like the proper process and procedure just need to be followed. It is not impossible. Of course, it's 100% possible. And it's just like he believes the way we are doing it now might be a wrong way. I've also subscribed to that as one of the campaigners. And like I said, if I get to the president tomorrow, I'll mention the wish and wishes of the Yoruba people at one time want to leave Nigeria, the relationship with Nigeria. But again, I'm also conscious of the fact that Yoruba land will still be a neighbor to the remaining part of whatever is left of Nigeria. Now, let me come back to you, Alagbatunji Atewologun. In fact, at the beginning, I wanted to ask you to break down the name, but it's just like somebody asking me also to break down the name Husseini. So I was only joking; it wasn't serious. You and I can use this opportunity, this medium, to send our sympathy to Chief Sunday Igboho, who lost his mom. I lost mine in 1965, and I know what it is. Up to today, I'm still feeling absence. So it's not easy to lose someone whom you so much love, especially a mom, because for some reasons, mom take more clear, more, they do more to sustain, to live, to get, to grow their children, Then we have this situation that Chief Sunday Igboho is still in exile. And of course, what do you think, what should be the process of getting him back home? Tunji Atewologun.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Otunba. First of all, let me show what my name is, because many people always ask me, what's the meaning of your name? And the name was passed down to me from my grandpa. We are princes and princess from Djibouti.
Okay.
We are the real Omobanta. So from a situation that happened, and they did not give my grandpa part of the inheritance. So he said, àtẹ́wọ́ mi logún mi, nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ti fún mi, ẹ máa kó lọ. Àtẹ́wọ́ mi yìí o.
Omiogun. Wow.
There was a name we had before, tí wọ́n ń jẹ́, but wọ́n á change orúkọ yẹn from that name to Àtẹ́wọ́lógún. Passed down to my father and my uncles and my aunties, and passed down to us. We cherish the name a lot. I love the name. Thank God the man changes to that name, and that name has been following me all over. And I've been in situations that people don't expect I could come out scratch free, and they were surprised that when I told them, àtẹ́wọ́ mi, òun logún mi, nǹkan tí n bá fọwọ́ ara mi ṣe, òun logún mi. A very short situation happened. I was in Vienna, Austria, and I was in charge of the hotel money. And at the end of the day, we packed money in boxes into an office, and I'm supposed to clean that office. And I got into the office, the whole floor was full of money.
Wow.
Austrian shilling, though.
Honestly, yeah.
Austrian shilling. So
That would have been in the 80s.
that was 93, 94.
Okay, 80s, 90s. Okay.
93, 94, yes. So I cleaned what I can clean, and I left. So the Schwarz master come, and he found the same intact. Nothing happened to it. And he called me. Mr. TJ, what was machen, bitte, come to Rook. That's come straight, what's going on? And I went there. He said, all these things were still the same that I left it. And I told him the meaning of my name. What I did not work for is not mine. What actually I work for is my inheritance. He was so much surprised that he said they put camera everywhere, so that if they see me going out with an extra bag, there are police all over, police everywhere in mufti, to take me. He said they were surprised when all of them were discussing that this man just came out with nothing. In fact, you will not even know that he has pocket.
So was that a kind of a trap or what?
Yes, it was a trap.
Okay, that was a trap. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, they've been doing it many times, but I got there, and you know what? I was a cleaner and a dishwasher. So if I happen to have a long truth, hey, it's for me. It's easy for me to take. And the brain is different. When you see that kind of a thing, it's easy. But at the same time, I look at this money is just like 10% of it. If you see $50,000 there, 50,000 Australian shilling, all is $5,000. And I have to go through of finding a way to change it. If you see 100,000 Australian shilling right here, it's just $10,000.
Okay.
And it's not easy for me to carry all of them. It's going to be too much. And at the same time, what does not belong to me?
Thank you. So let's quickly go. We have only about 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
How do we get Chief Sunday Igboho?
I don't think it will be making any sense for the president to make an adjustment for him to come out when Nnamdi Kanu is still behind bars. because from the way they said it, the two of them or all of them have the same, offense. So for them, for Tinubu to say, okay, yeah, go and remove, allow him in, will be different from, will not be working well. So I don't see, I don't see that if he has to come out, then Nnamdi Kanu must be out too.
Okay. Shegun Daniel, because of time, do you share the same sentiment?
No, I don't. The situation could be similar, but they are not identical. Sunday Igboho currently is in Benin Republic. I don't know if he's facing charges in Benin Republic, or they've done away with all his charges there. So, if he's done away with his charges in Benin Republic, he's a free man to return to Nigeria. It is his choice not to return for reasons of he knows there are preferred charges against him in Nigeria. So that is his choice. If he wanted to face those charges, if he gets lawyers, come to Nigeria, apparently, most likely, he will be arrested and those charges will be preferred against him. But for him to feel, oh, those charges should be quashed when he had not even got to court, you get it? It's a separate, they are two different things. As regard Kanu is already in Nigeria. There are charges before him. He's been taken to court, and those charges are being managed. So in case of Sunday Igboho, he is a part of those who are deciding his own situation. Like I said, I don't know the current situation of his litigation in Benin Republic. If he's out of all the quagmire of litigation in Benin Republic, then he's a free man of free choice to return to Nigeria. And if there are other preferred charges against him in Nigeria, then he will have to face it. That is the situation. But when charges are not being preferred against him, and he's suspecting that, oh, if I come this, that will be tantamount to playing the law before it even establishes itself. You get it? That will come in the area of playing politics. In which case, yes, maybe for those who want to approach the presidency and said, these charges that could be preferred against him in the event he return to Nigeria should be dropped. Any government agency that have such charges, either the police, the DSS, because mostly I believe that the charges against him are not economic in nature. They are likely criminal as well as political in nature. So which means it resides mostly around the environment of politics. So if they want to, they could approach the presidency and try to make a soft landing for him. There's nothing wrong with that. If we can have emissaries sent to the presidency, have good talk, and the presidency could use its own, it's both political and security. And the government could say, okay, my security operatives, what do we have on this guy? Is it the police that want an issue with him? Is it the DSS, intelligence, or whatever that want to prefer charges against him? And said, drop them.
I have one question for Mr. Daniel.
Ordinarily, the minister of what is it called? The minister of justice and the attorney general could do that even without the presidency, though it has to do with the assent of the president, and said, I'm not entering any charges against him. Yes, that is how much they can lobby. That is how much they can lobby.
I have one question.
Like I said, it has political.
I will put you on just 1 second, Agbatiji.
Like I said, it has political undertone too. That is where we need to understand who is making decisions. If it comes before the presidency and he looks at it and said, it will not be political correct for me. You get it?
Yes.
To take a decision in favor of this person you are lobbying for. That is his decision. If he knows that I'm likely going to lose followership in the north or in the east, if I have to grant this favor to Sunday Igboho, that is his decision. Sunday Igboho should understand that too. The same way I said that Chief Sunday Igboho in Cotonou has his own decision to make, that I either stay out now. You get it? That is it. So it's not the presidency that is deciding for him. I either stay not returning now till there is a favorable environment.
Thank you.
Or I will return now and take preferred charges against the government. Do you get it? That is the focus on
the question now.
Quickly take this question because I will close this in 2 minutes. Ask the question and then please give me 1 minute to answer, please.
Yeah, the question is that, is it an individual? It's only an individual that could take the government to court before actions, or the government also can take somebody to court before actions, because Igboho's house was raided and people were killed in house by government forces. Oh, these people did not take Igboho to court and they were about to kill him, right? And you were saying at that time that, look, I was looking for extrajudiciary actions. Was the government not involved in such extrajudiciary actions? Were they not supposed to take him to court? That's my question.
Thank you very much. To be honest with you,
if I need to answer that, like I said, the devil is in.
You need to be fast, please, because I need to.
Yes. Yeah. What we don't know is the devil is in the detail. You see, the way the judicial administration works is very funny. Justice system is one side, administration of it is another thing. If they had gone to his house to arrest him, and in doing so, God forbid, they have killed people. You see, I mentioned something the other time on your program, Otunba. I said the state has a monopoly of the use of force. I've corrected myself because a lot of people, when I was saying the use of violence.
Individuals don't have.
Listen, pardon me, sir. Something is, they could hide under all manners of issues. They might said he resisted arrest. United States, where you live, there are police that kill people and get away with it. You get it? They can hide under all manners of administration of justice, where the person will not even get to court and his life is lost. Do you get it? That's what I'm saying. DSS might have gone to his house and said we wanted to arrest him. In the process, he resisted arrest, he did this, he did that, and lives were lost.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes.
The other part of it is, if, like the situation we were, that Chief Sunday Igboho life was spared or he escaped unscattered, fine. If he feel aggrieved, you get it? And that's why I said this is his decision. If he feel aggrieved, he could take all those evidence and say, this is what they did in my house. This is the attempt they made at my life. And then he too comes to court. There's nothing that will.
Thank you.
There have been thousands of people that take government to court.
Yes, I must stop you there, Mr. Shegun Daniel. Thank you very much. Tuji Atewa Logun. Now I know exactly what the name is all about. I want to appreciate both of you. And I promise my viewers, because I keep getting a lot of feedback, the subsequent show is going to be about more of Yoruba Self Determination Movement in this ongoing Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led government. We want to see how best we want to take advantage of what we have and see what we are going to get. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Can I quickly add something?
It has to be at the next. It has to be next meeting, Mr. Because
just 1 minute.
Yes,
just 1 minute. My advice.
1 minute.
If it will be taken, my advice, and being honest here, as either a legal counselor to Chief Sunday Igboho is for him to use a political means. If he knows good contact to the presidency,
Thank you very much.
let them explore it. Whatever is the feeler they got from there, if it shows that it's not convenient
Thank
for
you. I'm
him
going to go now.
to return, he should not return.
Thank you very much.
If it is convenient for him,
This is the
he
end of the
can.
show. And here, I think I want to thank my two guests. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Segun Daniel and Tunji Atewalogun.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Daniel.
very much.
I appreciate